easier to drive it.
Drive what?
The car.
It doesn't have enough stuff to run.
You gotta steer it.
I just have to steer it?
Yeah. Don't push the brake pedal. It doesn't have brake pads. Bruh.
Just steer.
Just steer it. Okay, welcome to a video. Whether it's another video or your first video, welcome. So, as you would have seen by the title, today I'm working on my EK Snatch. As of carry the one 4 days ago, I've owned this car for 3 years. I bought it 100% stock off the second owner. It was an immaculate shave. It was a really clean little car. I bought it with the intention to take all the stuff I'd been collecting, like my Type R motor and 5-lug swap and blah 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 blah, and make one cool little hatch. I've kind of done that. It's not done yet. I've just kind of lost interest in the project. Like I said, it's been 3 years and I've never even driven this stupid thing, so it's just kind of time for me to get the thing done, and then in the spring I'm going to use it for my buddy's wedding, and at that point I'm going to decide whether I'm keeping the car or selling the car. At this point, like I said, I've lost interest in it, but when I get it together and drive it again and rip some of that sweet Type R VTEC, I might not want to sell it. I might want to keep her. So the plan today is, if you watched my last video to the end, you will have seen I accidentally drove this thing into my barbecue. And if you look closely, yeah, there's a dent in the barbecue. So the reason I did that was the car has no brakes right now. There's no front pads in it. There's no fluid in it. And I don't know what's going on the back. I'll find out. But I have some sort of pads here. I don't know what those are. Pretty sure these are HP Plus for a Type R, so I have those. We got brake pads for the front. I don't have any fancy brake fluid right now. If I end up keeping the car and taking it to the track, I'll put something better in it. But I have some .3, so we'll put that in it, and we'll start bleeding the brakes out. Yeah, I don't know. This is just a mess. I'm just babbling. Why don't we just do something? Let's jack this thing up and get the wheels off it and actually have a look at the brakes. Winter has officially hit. There's the old 8th Gen SI coupe we've been working on. Yeah, it's snowing, so toge season is finally here. See the snow out there on my own truck. So look forward to videos of me potentially crashing my 9th Gen soon. All right, now that the car is up and in the air, I thought let's do like a kind of in-depth walk around tour of this thing. We'll see all the modifications I've done to it, if I can remember them. as I go through it, I'll probably be remembering them because I haven't worked on it for quite some time. So yeah, I don't know. Let's just go through it and take a trip down memory lane and see what we got hanging out here. So we'll start with the obvious is motor and trans. So I don't know if well you guys will see that, but it's a B18 C7. For the uninitiated, that is a 1.8 liter Integra Type R motor, and the C7 denotes that it is an Australian market version. So that motor is imported from Australia, and I think they make, I don't even remember, in the range of 200 horsepower and probably 120 foot-pounds of torque or something like that. I did have this engine on the dyno once, and I think it put down 177 wheel horsepower. And it might have actually been in the 140 foot-pound range for the tires. I don't exactly recall. It was quite a long time ago. But the trans currently in the car is out of an EM1. So it's an S4C, which is a short ratio but non-LSD. I do have... right here, this is an S80 JDM Type R transmission with the lower years, so it's like an 09 to 01 version with the 4.76 ratio or whatever, and the LSD. This is a really low mileage transmission, but unfortunately it has a crack in the case right here, so it weeps oil pretty bad. So I either need to replace the case or have the case welded, which is why it's not in the car right now. That's why I have B16 trans in it, just to get it driving. The motor is completely stock, minus, you know, your bolt-ons. Obviously it's got a carbon fiber whale intake. We got spoon hoses, we got spoon wires, skunk tube radiator. The flywheel is the stock Type R, but it has a competition stage 1 clutch. We're still running power steering on the car. It's just got cheap Yonaka solid motor mounts on all 3 locations with no torque mounts installed. It's got Speed Factory block ports run up to a 4-port catch can. So I got 1 coming from the valve cover and then 2 ports off the back of the block. And it's got Gates timing belt, and we did OEM water pump tensioner and all that on it. I think that's it for the motor as I'm remembering right now. Guess let's start with the exterior. So most of the stuff on the car exterior wise is original. The car is actually numbers matching. Never been in a fender bender. All the body panels share the correct VIN numbers. Original windshield. The only thing that's not original, if I recall, is either this quarter glass or this glass. I would have to look, but it's so dirty I can't see the markings right now. So anyways, when I got the car, it was just a base DX, so it had black door handles, black trims, black mirrors, black side skirts, did not have the mid-wing. So all of that I sourced. This was off of a DX Special Edition. All the trims I sourced from, I think, my old EM1. I think the mirrors are from my old EM1. The side skirts are from my old EM1. I may have gotten these door handles and side trims may have come from the same car I got the wing off of. Same as the rear license plate surround, I think is also off that same hatch. It still has the 90-2000 tails. I didn't change any of those. So that's about it on the exterior of the car. You can see this side skirt needs to be sprayed. They were on a wrapped car at one time, so I think whoever wrapped it had sanded them to make it smoother, so I have to repaint that skirt. And eventually I'd like to find an EM1 grille and lip to really complete the front of the car. I also have the OEM license plate plugs I would like to put in and paint match. But that's about it for the exterior of the car. Let's have a look at the suspension. So the suspension is a 32 mil USDM 5-lug. It actually came from California, so it was off Sean Lucas's old black hatch, which is the owner or founder of Narita Dogfight. So that was kind of cool. The 5-lug and the wheels, which I'll get to soon, both came off of that car. I did new wheel bearings. I did ARP studs. You can see those are already rusting. When I did the swap, these are also Stop Tech rotors, which are brand new, never used, but you can see how long the car's been sitting because they're all rusty. We got Russell braided brake lines. Right now it still has factory upper control arms. I would like to get a set of camber arms so that I can give it the front camber it deserves. Skunk 2 Pro Series, something rather coilovers. They're non-damping adjustable. I think they're like an 8K spring front and back, if I recall. As you can see, there's no pads in it right now, but yeah, those are the ITR calipers, so we gotta get the pads in there. Out back, what do we got going on here? So I think I bought these new, and again, they just sat, so they turned to rust. I don't know what the pads are. Same Skunk 2 coilovers. We've got either, I don't remember, they might be SPC or Skunk 2. I think they're SPC upper control arms. Yeah, I can see the logo there, SPC. We've got the Russell braided brake lines. We did the K-tuned hardened rubber trailing arm bushings. And I think at the same time, I also replaced the inner toe arms. As far as sway bar, we've just got a factory ITR bar with ASR brace, and I think these are just some cheap like replica lower control arms because they had new bushings in them. As for the exhaust, it's got a full Jay's Racing titanium catback, and it's got a shorty JDM cat in it. I think that's it for back there, but we'll start in the interior first. So interior, you can see the door cards are all in really nice shape. This is a pretty low mileage car. It's got 186,000 was the oil change, so I think it's got 182,000 on the chassis, and that's kilometers. So for any American viewers, that's like 115,000 Freedom units roughly. So inside we got a Splash Sports extended hub. Sparco wheel, I have no clue what that was anymore. I bought it new for the car. I don't remember what model it is. It's pretty sweet. It's got a little bit of dish. We've got the CTR cluster, as you can see there. Running a Battlecraft shift knob, and it does have the ITR shift linkage in the car as well, with the bushings done. Still have the little cup holder spacer there. You can see it still has its original CD player and radio in it. These floor mats I think are the original to the car, but I dyed them black because they were a little stained looking. You can see there's some heel marks in them. As far as the seat goes, it's a Buddy Club spec racing seat. I don't even recall what the rails are. I think there's some kind of homemade jobby. It does have race equip harnesses, but they're disconnected right now because I was running this seat in my FA5. But yeah, got some Joker decals, got some sweet decals on that seat. It makes it way faster, you know. Go look at the passenger side. So yeah, again, nice door cards on this side, and this floor mat I refinished as well. They're a little dirty right now, but still have the original manuals with the car and Carfax and everything proving its mileage and that it's never been in an accident. It's running Honda S300, and I think this is just an Integra DC4 or DC2 passenger seat. So that about does it for the interior other than the back, but I gotta grab my keys and we'll have a look in the back. All right, I found the keys. As you can see, it's got a old school Viper alarm, which is kind of amusing. I'm gonna probably keep that in the car just because it's period correct, you know. So let's have a look at what I did in the hatch. All right, so you can see I did keep the full interior panels in it along there, and I've kept the privacy tray so that when the trunk's closed, I want it to try and look as stock as possible. And then it's running a battery box back here with got a little breaker disconnect and stuff in there. Don't have a strap on it right now, obviously. Okay, and as far as the roll bar, it is custom made by a shop that no longer exists, but it's called JBDR in the Okanagan, and it was originally made for an EG, but it actually fits really good in the EK. So it's mostly done. It's installed and cut around at the carpets there at the base with the plates and everything's bolted in. Here it's bolted into the frame assembly, but as you can see, I don't have bolts into here yet and plates mounted at the bottom, so that's something I still need to do. But yeah, I think that's kind of the basic overview of this car. It's definitely, it was a car that younger me always wanted, as a Type R hatch. I mean, not a real EK9 obviously, but to build a hatch with a Type R in it and 5 lug and all that. So like I said, it kind of sucks that I got lost interest and kind of bummed out on it, but I don't know, maybe once I start working on it again and we drive it in the spring, maybe I'll love it and want to keep it. But I think that's enough bibble babbling. All right, got all the surface skids off the rotors. As you can see, they are soaked in oil as well, so that's what some of the discoloration is. I'm gonna hit them with some brake clean and some Scotch-Brite and see how they look.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
All right, boom, there they are, and they look really good. You can see this one has a bit of discoloration there. That one had the worst of the pitting, but yeah, considering they've been just chilling in the elements for as long as they have, they look almost new again. So that's good. That wasn't a waste of a lot of money, because I'm pretty sure I remember those being expensive. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean these up. You can see there's a little bit of surface stuff growing on there, so we'll give these a nice quick clean. And I was also noticing that the slide pins they move, they're not seized or anything, but they're kind of, that one especially, stickier than they should be. So I'm gonna pull all the slide pins out and re-grease and clean all that stuff, and then put the pads in, and I should be able to throw all that back on the front of the car, and then the front of the car should be ready. And then I gotta move to the back. I don't know if that's going to happen tonight, but I'm not trying to drag this out into a bunch of videos or do anything like that. I'm just going to film this process as I work on the car, so it is what it is. We'll get to where we get to, and we'll just keep moving along. So let's keep working. All right, I'm gonna grab some food. As you can see, I'm on a keto diet. I pulled the pins out of the brackets here, and you can see that one's the worst of it. She's a little chocolatey looking. The others aren't just bad, but I'm gonna stick this inside of the drill. Wee, wee, little bit of brake clean. And then they'll be basically brand new. We'll put some new brake lube on there and put it back together. So if you're poverty spec like me and you don't have fancy cleaner boys, just do this. Just gotta take some Scotch-Brite, twist it up like that after you pinch it in your vise, and you just feed it down into the bore like so, and then and yeah, she's nice and clean. And then we'll just give it a spritz. It's gonna come out like root beer because it was kind of nasty, you can see. And yeah, you just kind of rinse and repeat that process until you're happy with them being clean, and then we'll re-grease, reinstall. When she drives a Hyundai. One thing I forgot to show you guys was the wheels. They are wedsport TCO 5s? Yeah, something like that. I don't know. It's been a long time. 15 by 6.5, offset, unknown. I could probably flip one over and tell you, but that sounds like work, so. Anyways, they're in pretty good shape. We're going to be reusing those. As you can see, the tires, well, they've seen better days. So I've got these. I've got these RE71Rs here that have only got one autocross on them. They're still in good shape. So we're going to throw those on there. And that'll be that. Also discovered this in the back of it is my front foam bumper support. Apparently it's not on there, so I'm gonna have to pull the front bumper off, put that back on. But the brakes on the front of the car anyways are done. So I threw those brand new Hawk HP Pluses in there. We cleaned up the rotors as you guys seen. Threw some anti-seize behind the hat. We put some Hawk high temperature grease on each of the pins, redid those, and gave the calipers a quick clean. So the front is ready to go. And for those of you being like, oh my god, why didn't you paint the freaking calipers? Well, I don't know, I prefer the factory look. And these calipers are off of 2000 or 2001 Type R, and they're still original finish, and they're not all rusty. So that to me says something. They are in good shape, they've been well taken care of, they haven't seen a bunch of winters. I just prefer the natural look. So I don't need to put the $5 on it and make it look all ricey. If you want to buy this car in the future and go buy a $5 can of Ferrari Red at Canadian Tire, then be my guest. You can do the old Brembo conversion in a can. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to do in this video. It's probably getting long-ish now anyways, since I give you guys a full tour of the car. So in the next one, we will tackle the rear brakes, bleeding the brakes, and then maybe we'll even have tires and wheels on it. So yeah, until then, catch you on the flip side.